Hi guys, it's Sarah from the Lone Rose 9314, and welcome to my September wrap-up / October TBR. What happened was, I'm working for the next 2 days. Well, I have Tuesday off, but I don't think I'll not be able to get much reading done, so I figured why not just do my TBR at the moment, as well as the books I read in September, which surprised me I got through this many books because last month was a little bit of a downer. I wanted to read 5 books, but this month I actually did read 5 books. So I was proud of myself. So in no particular order, I'm gonna start with the books I did get finished with. First up, I have here The Confessions of a Murder Suspect by James Patterson. I finished this book along with a few other books, because that's how I read now. But The Confessions of a Murder Suspect by James Patterson and Maxine Petro. I didn't know there was a second author in this book. Well, it centers around a girl named Tandy. I think that's how I say her name, Tandy. So it centers around a girl named Tandy. Her parents have just been murdered. There was no forced entry, no anything. And her parents have been murdered. So all her and her siblings are considered suspects. So this is just her trying to figure out who did murder her parents. I gave this book, I think, 7 out of 10 stars. Mostly because I didn't like the ending and how I kind of feel like it cheated its way out. That and cliffhangers, for one. I don't really like cliffhangers in this one. Did it have a cliffhanger? I know it's probably a part of the series, but just wasn't a sufficient first book to get me to buy the rest of the book. So that one. Next up, I have a book I actually read earlier in the month. I actually got this done on September 1st. I started August 31st, but ended in September, so it's on my September TBR, not my August one. It's on my September wrap-up instead of my August one. So, the next book I have here is Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. I gave this book either a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I enjoy this book. I like Sophie. I believe her name is Sophie, and I'm holding the book wrong. Sorry about that, guys. It centers around Sophie. She's a witch. She just transferred to Hex Hall, a boarding school for supernatural creatures. Girls are getting killed, missing, other stuff, and it's very interesting. I like it. I liked it. I like Rachel Hawkins' writing, which is why I'm excited to read one of the books in this, my TBR, so I'm excited for that. But Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins is a pretty good book. I gave it an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. Actually, I think I gave this a 9 out of 10, actually. I think that's what its rating was 9 out of 10, because I didn't really find anything wrong with this book. So that. Next I have here is a book that I kept on getting recommended, and that was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I give this book either a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. Mostly because I hated the pace of it, and I hated the little cliffhangers, even though I know this is a standalone. I hate cliffhangers in a standalone, and I hate that it didn't explain a lot of things. And it was just for me. I didn't really enjoy Fangirl. I enjoyed some aspects of it, but it wasn't enough for me to read anything else by Rainbow Rowell. I might pick up Eleanor and Park because I heard that one was good. But this one, I'm just all like, eh. So Fangirl centers around a girl named Cav. She's just starting college. Her sister doesn't want to be roommates, so she has to figure out how to get along with this new roommate and go through college without her sister by her side, even though her and her sister are pretty much kind of like the same person, Kat thought. So I didn't like her sister either. Her sister was a bitch in this one, and her mother. Don't get me started on their mother in this book. So I guess that's why I didn't like this book, because they didn't have well-developed characters in it. I could give not two shits about any one of these characters except Calf and Levy. That was what I thought. I didn't really care if any of these people go away. I didn't really find them sufficient to the story. So that's why I gave Fangirl such a low rating. And if you want to see more about why I gave Fangirl such a low rating, I'll link down all my reviews to these books down below. So that. Next up, I gave this book a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 stars, and that is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Red Queen centers around a girl named Mare. Her country is divided by red blood and silver bloods. The silver bloods contain magical powers, and the red bloods are just, well, normal. But Mare is a red blood that contains silver blood powers. And I don't want to spoil much for this book, but I really do like this book. I am totally a Kalorn and Mare shipper. Sorry to anyone who's team Mare and Cal was his name? Mare and Cal, or my fucking god, Mare and Marvin. Sorry about your ship, guys. But that one, I really did enjoy this book. So that was a good one. And last but not least, on my August wrap-up, I have a book that I love so much that I gave 10 out of 10 stars, and that is Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. Every Last Word centers around Sam. Samantha, as her friends call her. She has OCD, more obsessive than compulsive. She's in the popular crowd. She doesn't really want to tell her friends because her friendship with these girls is toxic. And then she meets Caroline, and Caroline introduces her to Poet's Corner. And the reason why I love this book so much is because it got really in depth about what OCD was, and Sam is a very awesome character. I even gave a shit about the little tiny characters too. If I didn't like them, I hated them. So that's what a book should have. It should get you to care about the plot. It should get you to care about the characters as a whole. So if you haven't read Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone, and you're looking for a good contemporary read that's about subject that most people don't find comfortable, I would suggest Every Last Word. I really did enjoy this one. It just reminds me so much of Ellen Hawkins' writing. Maybe that's why I liked it so much. It's not poetry form, even though some of it is poetry because she's in a poetry club. So I do love this book. So if you haven't read it, I would suggest you read it. Alright guys, well, that was it for my August wrap-up. Now is the 5 books that I plan on reading for October, which I'm excited about. I'm excited about some of these, and I got 10 other books here besides the 5 that I'm about to show you, just in case I end up reading more than I originally thought. So the first book I have is The Retribution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hawkins. I'm already on page 68 of this book. I can't really tell you much about The Retribution of Mara Dyer, mostly because it's the 3rd book in the Unbecoming a Mara Dyer series, so I can't spoil anything for anyone, mostly because it's the 3rd book, and if you haven't read the 1st and 2nd one, it's going to contain major spoilers, so can't really tell you much about this book, but go ahead and buy the 1st one. If you're in a mood where you want to read something they haven't read before, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer is a pretty good book to read. Mostly because it's different for me. And I'm still trying to figure out the major plot line of Mara Dyer. I'm just all like, huh, that's interesting. Next book I have here for my October TBR is Tease by Amanda Maisel. Okay, so I'm already on page 32 of this one. T centers around a girl named Sarah. Sarah, which I think is ironic because Sarah's my name, but she spells her name without an H, so that's okay. So this centers around a girl named Sarah. Her classmate Emma has just killed herself. It shown that she is the reason why this girl killed herself because of the bullying and stuff, because she's one of the bullies. So this book is more centered around the bully's point of view whenever someone commits suicide and it's their fault. So this one right here, so far it's kind of boring to me. I know it shouldn't be boring, and this thing comes highly recommended by Ellen Hawkins. So maybe it's just slow for me to start. I really don't know, but we'll see whenever I continue with T's. Okay, so the third book I have here is the fourth book in the Blue Blood series, which is Van Allen Legacy. Like The Retribution of Mara Dyer, I can't really tell anyone anything about this book, mostly because it's the fourth book in the Blue Blood series. If you like vampires, and it's kind of like, you want more civilized vampires, then I suggest picking up Blue Bloods, because they're the civilized type vampires. So, Blue Bloods, Van Allen Legacy. I'm finally getting to it after picking up in middle school. Well, actually, sophomore year of high school. And then the fourth book I have on my TBR, which I'm really excited about, is The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. The Sky is Everywhere centers around a girl named Lenny whose sister has just committed suicide. And she's trying to get through life. That's all I really know about it. It seemed interesting, and I've heard good things about Jandy Nelson from I'll Give You the Sun, but The Sky is Everywhere is one of her debut novels, so I'm going to read The Sky is Everywhere first, because it seemed more interesting to me. Not that I'll Give You the Sun didn't seem interesting, but I really loved the synopsis for The Sky is Everywhere. Alright, the fifth book, and last book of my October TBR, is Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. My friend Sarah Yaki will finally be excited that I'm getting to Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. Uglies centers around a girl named Tally. She can't wait to get her surgery from ugly to pretty. It's one of those dystopian novels, so I don't really know much about the world here. So it seems interesting, and I want to read it. And I heard it's a good series. Well, I've heard mixed reviews of this series, so we'll see. Well, that was it for my October TBR, but just in case I'm in more of a reading mood, I have 10 books here that are my top 10 next books that I'm getting to. Coming in at number 1 is The Secret Life of Tristan Scott by H.M. Ward. I actually started this book like 2 months ago. Didn't really get into it as much as I hoped. I'm on page 158 of this book, actually. This is a really thick book, so if I do get to this one in October, which I seriously doubt, that one is probably gonna be taking up one whole month, mostly because it's so thick. But I hope I get through with this book, because I didn't really like the first one. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it gets better with that. Second book I have here is a book that I'm excited about, because I've heard nothing but good things about that. It is Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. Rebel Belle centers around Harper Price. I don't really know much about it. I know she somehow comes into powers, and she's a real girly girl, and I hear it's really hilarious. And Rachel Hawkins really did good with Hexall, so I hope I like this book as much as I liked Hexall. Third book in my collection is one that I'm really excited about, and that is More Happy Than Not by Adam Silveria. More Happy Than Not centers around a boy named Aaron. He's kind of in this. He's kind of having feelings for this other boy, and he doesn't want to. So he's going through this mind alteration program to see if it gets rid of his feelings. I heard nothing but good reviews for More Happy Than Not, and I really do love that more LGBT novels are coming out nowadays. And it's a really short book, but I hear it's really good. So here's to hoping. And these cute little smiley faces are really cute. Alright, fourth book I have here is Legend by Marie Lu. Don't really know much about Legend. I like this one, the inside. From different worlds, June and Day have no reason to cross paths until June's brother is murdered and Day becomes the prime suspect. In a shocking turn of events, the two uncover what has really brought them together and sinister lengths to which their country will go to keep its secrets. So this one's another dystopian novel. I've heard mixed reviews about Legend, but I've seen it around. So here's to hoping that this is good, like the other dystopians that I read. And then fourth book here is another dystopian, which my friend Gina will probably be happy that I'm fixing to get to, and that is Delirium by Lauren Oliver. I actually got through most of this book earlier. I was on page 345 when I gave up on the book, mostly because I didn't really care anymore for it. But I'm gonna reread this. I'm gonna give it another shot, see if it's any good. I do love that part though. I like the cover to this. But next book is Delirium by Lauren Oliver, another dystopian. Next up I have Teardrop by Lauren Kate, which is a really pretty cover. I like pretty covers. I don't really know much about it. I'm guessing it's about mermaids, maybe. Who knows? The next book I have here is one I'll be happy if I get to soon, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Throne of Glass centers around Selena. She is an assassin. She's going against 23 other assassins in this book. So I'm happy to get to this book if I get to it. So that's gonna be fun. The next book I have here, I actually got my sophomore year of college, and I really don't remember what it's about. And that is A Touch Mortal by Lee Clifford. So I'm happy to read this one. I'm just like, yay! I finally get into that one. Next book I have here is Collateral by Ellen Hawkins. I don't really know much about this one. I know her husband or boyfriend is in the military, and it's more about the spouse's point of view from the military. The spouse's point of view of having someone who's in the military. So I found that one interesting. And last but not least, I have another James Patterson book here. Hopefully it's better than The Confessions of Murder Suspect, and that is Second Honeymoon by James Patterson and Howard Ruffin. So I'm excited for this one. I don't really know what it's about. From the line, it says, "What would you do if you faced your wife's killer? Forgive or get revenge?" And I hope it's really a revenge novel about him trying to kill his wife's killer. That'd be awesome. So there you guys have it. That was my September wrap-up and October TBR. I'll link the description for these books below. I'll link what books I'm reading. So if you want to read with me, you can. And thank you guys. Like, subscribe, And if you want me to watch your September TBR, your October TBR and September ramp-up, comment in the section down below. Because I really like watching booktubers. So, bye guys. Have a nice night.